Interesting note about the rice straw. Bill mentioned that it's tough straw, difficult to plow under, so they do have a lot of problems with it rotting and improperly decomposing in the fields. It causes a lot of disease. So nice to hear that they are working on new methods of baling for bedding and things like that. Our next guests have some interesting ideas about uses for that of their own. So let's go take a look. Well, we're out here in God's country, somewhere between Kings Canyon and Fresno, and we're going to see fresh mushrooms. We have Jim Nichols and Dean Hansen. And now tell me, what kind of mushrooms do you raise here?
We grow 3 different kinds basically at the moment. We've got oyster mushrooms, and we've got portobello mushrooms, and shiitake mushrooms.
Okay, and how do we do this grow process?
Well, come on, let's show you.
Yeah.
They start out by collecting spores from the gills of mushrooms and brush them into a petri dish.
This one here is I just put a piece of culture in there.
It takes about 7 days for the culture to completely inoculate the dish. It's then cut up and put in a blender with malt, the same stuff that beer is made with. This acts as a nutrient and expands the culture. It's mixed with liquid and blended non-stop for 4 days. After that, Jim uses a syringe to squirt the liquid into a 15-pound bag of grain, either milo or millet, which has been sterilized in a pressure cooker. In 14 days, the entire bag is infected, so to speak, with the culture. It's opened, and its contents are crumbled up and mixed with sterilized straw in large plastic bags, eventually weighing about 60 pounds each. From here, the mushrooms grow rapidly and are ready to harvest in 12 to 14 days.
At the moment, this is our largest crop. This is an oyster mushroom. These are white oysters. We also grow brown ones. These, once you pick, you can't pick these big ones and leave the small ones to grow. These, you got to pick the whole bag because these will just die.
According to Jim, a good crop will yield 10 to 12 harvests per bag, about 40 pounds of mushrooms per bag each time.
Ecosystem of some sort, they're dying.
And just like the news gets around about any good restaurant, these little guys found their way to Jim's Diner all by themselves.
That's our fly control system, Kathy.
And it works, yeah, it works really good, too.
These here are shiitake blocks.
Now the shiitakes are grown mainly in kiln-dried white oak. These are shavings that come from a cooperage back east.
Okay. This is oak sawdust and oak chips. This is what the shiitake blocks are made of, mixed with other ingredients.
Those other ingredients are things such as rice bran, wheat bran, cottonseed, and corn.
The top of it is this big.
Shiitakes grow so quickly, Jim and Dean usually have to harvest both morning and evening.
By tonight, this little tiny one here will be as big as this one here.
Jim also noted that discarded shiitake blocks make excellent cattle feed. And then there's the little brown cremini mushrooms, which grow up to be those big, beautiful portobellos.
Those are medium-sized portobellos. This mushroom here, if left, will grow to be that size.
The portobellos are grown in composted straw and a thin layer of peat moss, both of which have been pasteurized.
Here. This is mycelium here, which is the actual mushroom seed. That's the end result after the mushrooms are being grown. It goes in here, like that, composts, and then we start all over again. Either that or it goes into my vegetable garden, one or the other.
Jim and Dean believe the closer to natural the conditions are, the better the quality of the mushrooms, so they use no heat, no air conditioning. After all, Mother Nature doesn't use them, so why should they? Dean, you were talking earlier about using some industrial waste and agricultural waste for the growth of these mushrooms.
Especially with oyster mushrooms, it's a wonderful process because you can take used newspaper, you can take used cardboard, You can take rice straw, which is a problem now. You can take waste from coffee. You can take waste from tea. You can take waste from banana production or whatever, sugarcane production. And all of that stuff can be pasteurized, add some supplementation to it, and you can grow mushrooms on it.
It sounds like a wonderful world.
Well,
Why
it
don't
is.
we all do this?
Boy, if there's anything that I have to do with it, it will happen. I'm a monomaniac with a mission, and my mission is to see that things get decomposed, because without the use of fungus and the whole process of renewing, you can't do sustainable agriculture. You can't grow a healthy planet, and you know it's a tremendous waste of materials and resources. And if I had an opportunity, you know, what would you do if somebody gave you $1 million? If I had
Grow mushrooms?
if I had $1 million, I'd put up a large plant immediately, and I'd have 50 families supported on one income, working full time. You know, and that's what I'd do if I had $1 million.
No Disneyland for you.
Nope, don't want Disneyland.
Well, Dean, thank you very much. I appreciate the
Thank
tour.
you.
Jim, it's been wonderful.
Wonderful having you here.
Thanks very much. So there you have it, the answer to today's industrial and ag waste problems. Grow mushrooms. Stick around. We'll be right back for more Savory Times.